I've never seen such an incredible man. He dug out an entire hillside with his bare hands and built a luxurious treehouse deep in the mountains. The interior is not only spacious, but he also installed flooring throughout the whole place. On top of that, he made his own fishing device and achieved seafood freedom. This is truly the pinnacle of wilderness construction. Grab your phone with more than half its battery left and let's enjoy this stress-relieving process together. Arong, who is passionate about outdoor adventures, is once again venturing into this remote, untouched mountain today. After making his way through a tangle of branches and shrubs, a sturdy tree trunk suddenly appears before him. Arong's curiosity is instantly piqued. He quickly steps forward to take a closer look and sees that the tree trunk has already started to rot, leaving a large hollow space in the middle. This is simply the perfect spot to build a shelter. Without hesitation, Arong grabs the tools he brought with him. He begins clearing away the messy debris around the tree trunk. After a bit of simple cleaning, the area immediately becomes much brighter and more open. Of course, if you want a comfortable shelter in the wilderness, the more spacious it is, the better. So he starts clearing away the rotten wood and soil beneath the tree trunk, skillfully and powerfully wielding his tools. Not long after he starts digging, a massive boulder weighing thousands of pounds appears before him, but this is no challenge for the experienced Arong. He places a few logs under the boulder and then uses the principle of leverage. The boulder slowly begins to move. As time passes, before long, Arong has dug out a spacious, deep pit, and the soil he cleared out happens to be perfect for expanding the area in front of the entrance. To make it easier to build the walls later, Arong decides to adjust the order of construction. He first sets about building the stove, placing it in a corner so that it meets daily needs, while taking up as little overall space as possible. Once the stove is finished, Arong takes a saw and precisely cuts an entry and exit passage into the selected tree trunk. This will later become the location of the main door. Living alone in these desolate mountains, safety is the top priority, so sturdy walls capable of fending off wild animals are absolutely essential. Arong had a plan in mind. He intended to use bamboo poles to build the walls. These bamboo poles are straight and lightweight, making them extremely convenient to transport and install. More importantly, their toughness is enough to withstand attacks from wild animals, providing a reliable line of defense for his home. For the roof structure, Arong used the same method, carefully arranging the bamboo poles in an orderly fashion, and securing them one by one with hemp rope. Soon, a sturdy framework began to take shape. Next, Arong evenly spread a layer of fine mud over the surface of the frame. This thin layer of mud not only effectively blocks rainwater from seeping in, but also, after finishing the fine mud layer, Arong was not yet satisfied. He quickly gathered some pieces of tree bark and laid them out in an orderly fashion on the surface of the mud. These pieces of bark acted like a sturdy suit of armor, not only protecting against rain erosion, but also cleverly camouflaging the shelter. With the addition of the bark, the once somewhat conspicuous shelter instantly blended in with its surroundings. Afterward, Arong went over to a nearby stream that still had some water flowing. He began to carefully search through the area. These relatively flat stones were like natural floor tiles. He gathered up all of these stones and took them back to the shelter. Arong immediately set to work laying the floor. He first spread a layer of thin mud on the ground to act as an adhesive, then placed the stones one by one. With each stone he set down, he used a wooden stick to tap and press it firmly, ensuring the stones made full contact with the mud. Arong paid special attention to the gaps between the stones, carefully smoothing them out to make sure the entire floor was level, laying a solid foundation for a comfortable living environment in the future. With that, the floor was finished. Appeared. Woosha! Now it's time to start furnishing the place. With his skilled craftsmanship and experience, Arong quickly assembled a bed frame, reinforced it with wooden dowels, and completed the framework. The rest of the work was relatively simple. He just needed to lay bamboo poles layer by layer on the frame in order. With the last bamboo pole securely fixed onto the frame, a simple yet practical bed immediately appeared before their eyes. To make the overall environment more harmonious and aesthetically pleasing, Arong then turned his attention to a nearby log, laying bamboo poles on the surface of the log as well. Living alone in this spacious and tidy space is simply a pleasure. However, the shelter is still missing some key components, namely doors and windows. Arong carefully sands the logs until they are smooth and even. Next, he carves matching mortises at both ends of the logs. Then, he assembles the notched wooden pieces together and secures them slightly, forming a sturdy door frame. Once the door frame is finished, Arong begins to lay the door panels one by one. Similarly, wooden dowels need to be hammered in for reinforcement, ensuring that the door panels are tightly connected to the door frame. After that, he installs the door handle and carefully hangs the door onto the frame, making sure it opens and closes smoothly. The windows are installed using the same method. After a flurry of activity, the doors and windows are all securely in place, marking the completion of the shelter. Living alone deep in the mountains, food reserves are even more crucial. To ensure a stable food supply, satisfied, he decides to make a fishing tool himself. We see Along skillfully and steadily splitting bamboo poles one by one. Next, he carefully trims off the excess nodes from the bamboo strips. He makes sure each bamboo strip is neat and smooth. Then, he weaves the prepared strips together, overlapping them in an alternating pattern. Thanks to his extensive experience living in the wild, weaving the bamboo comes especially naturally to him. In no time at all, a beautifully crafted fish trap appears before his eyes. Along skillfully places the fish trap in a nearby stream. Now all he has to do is quietly wait for the unsuspecting fish to swim inside. Making use of this free time, Along decides to build an oven, once again using the stones he found nearby for the construction. While stacking the stones, Along deliberately leaves a firewood inlet on one side of the wall, making it easier to add firewood later. As for the top of the oven, Along designs it in an arched shape. This design not only increases the oven's stability, but also allows heat to circulate better inside. To help the clay dry and set quickly, Along lights a fire directly, using the high temperature of the flames to bake it. By evening, he goes to check the fish trap, and as expected, he has a harvest. Yulong successfully catches a basket full of fresh fish. Along quickly gets to work, cleaning the fish he caught and cutting them into even pieces. Cut the fish into evenly sized pieces, then skewer them one by one onto the prepared wooden sticks. Considering that living deep in the mountains makes food preservation a major issue, Along decides to turn the fish into dried fish so they can be stored for a long time. He places the skewered fish on a rack inside the grill, and as the charcoal fire roasts them, the pieces gradually emit a tempting aroma. Even late at night, Along doesn't forget to check on the fish pieces. Depending on how dry they are, he adds firewood as needed to ensure that each piece is evenly heated. The next day, just as dawn was breaking, Along began collecting some oddly shaped branches because he had a new idea in mind. He planned to install a fence around the courtyard. This would make the place both safer and more attractive. He started by driving the selected posts into the soil one by one, making sure they were sturdy and upright. Then, he carefully arranged leftover round timber pieces along the edge of the courtyard. Those oddly shaped branches, after Along's clever handiwork, were instantly transformed into artistic decorations, adding a unique atmosphere to the courtyard. Considering that the courtyard, made of earth, would become very muddy and slippery after rain, Along decided to simply lay down some flooring inside as well. He used the same approach, making full use of the variously sized logs for the flooring, placing each piece just right. As time passed, under Along's skillful hands, the courtyard flooring was quickly completed. After finishing the installation of the courtyard floor, Along hurried over to check on the fish skewers in the oven. After 2 days of careful roasting, the fish skewers had become crispy and emitted a rich aroma. Overjoyed, Along took out all the fish skewers and carefully placed them in his backpack for safekeeping. After completing these tedious yet fulfilling tasks, Along could finally relax both body and mind. He sat quietly in the courtyard, breathing in the fresh mountain air, feeling the gentle caress of the breeze, and quietly enjoying this tranquility, having successfully achieved a carefree life.